We have often reported on the growing issue of the lack of affordable housing here on the Suncoast. The reality is, increasingly, police officers, firefighters, teachers, and other professionals simply can't afford to live in the communities where they serve. But as Christopher Brantley tells us, some of the best ideas aren't always the biggest. In this case, it is just the opposite. Christopher.
Absolutely, Alan. And we first told you about this story last year. However, after a series of pitfalls, the proposal fell by the wayside. Now it's back on the table, but there is still a big hurdle to cross. It was only a few years ago that Carrie Smith fell on hard times.
I know how that feels when you have to sacrifice something just to put bread on the table to feed your child.
For Smith, one thing that could have helped her was an affordable rent. Unfortunately, where she lived in California, she couldn't find that.
I was divorced and my son was 18 months old. Some college background, not able to get my degree.
With all other options exhausted, she moved to Venice with her parents for the promise of a small room for her and her infant son.
Had a little separate room for them, and for a year or two while she got on her feet, we were able to help her.
But soon the economy tanked and they were all back to square one.
I lost the house and my business, and if it wasn't the fact that I had a few dollars in the bank, which a lot of these folks don't when hard times come, I would have been one of the candidates for one of these homes.
At life's critical junction, Bud LaFave decided he wanted to help what he calls the forgotten ones.
A lot of them, I found through research, are sleeping in tents with their children. They're sleeping in cars, behind buildings.
LaFave found people who work 40 or more hours a week but aren't making enough money to afford local rental payments.
We did a calculation for just the northeast part of town, and we came up with roughly the need for 1,200 units of affordable housing if we wish to provide enough available housing for the people that need it now.
LaFave's plan would put 40 or so 400 to 600 foot square homes on a piece of property like a small home neighborhood. The rent would be between $400 to $600 a month, depending on the size of the home. This property is one that he's looking into.
We want this to be like a condo village for them, to where they can come in and know every day that they're safe and that there's people around that care about them.
Last year, he partnered with a local business to get started, but that didn't work out. For the last year, he's been beating the pavement to regain support.
And I went to some places to see about what we have to do to raise some money to build this thing. And they all told me what I needed to do, so the last year I've spent doing that.
Venice's Mayor John Hollick supports the small housing idea. On his own, Hollick has been trying to come up with a solution on affordable housing himself.
I think I'm very close to a private party stepping in, not using any government money.
He hopes to have some sort of apartment complex geared towards affordable housing. The term affordable housing is often misleading. What a waiter or waitress can afford is probably going to be different from what a doctor can afford. And that's the point here. When it comes to affordable housing, increasingly the Suncoast is a story of have and have-nots. Even police, firefighters, teachers, and other professionals can't afford to live in the communities where they work.
$30,000 to $40,000 a year job is not enough for someone that's going to be charged $1,200 a month for rent.
If you start looking at who they are, they range from old folks to young kids.
Carrie Smith knows people right now who are candidates for small homes.
Two of the girls that I work with are struggling just to make ends meet. They have small children, they're divorced, and they both of them live with their parents.
Having been there and done that, Smith joined her dad in his relentless pursuit to help those people like her coworkers, people who work full-time jobs but don't make enough to live.
It would bolster their self-esteem, their pride. They would be more motivated. They have someplace safe, and they know their child's safe and taken care of. It would be huge.
Yeah.
It would save them.
Now, if all goes according to plan and there are little to no hang-ups with preparing the land for the homes, LaFave says he hopes he can have the small homes livable within a year. That is all contingent upon him raising a whole lot of money, though.
All right, Christopher, thank you.